Presented in partnership with Barra Brava Brewing. This is Lumpen FC.
Welcome back. WLP and LP Chicago 105.5 FM, Lumpen Radio. You are listening to Lumpen FC, and we got so much to cover. I am Adrian. And I am here with the usual crew,
Jamie J
and Sebastian,
and we got Nate back again with us today.
Hello.
For the Chicago Fire
Nate.
FC. Absolutely. We got a lot to cover. Europa Cup Finals, Champions League, Women's Champions League, MLS, and the Chicago Fire Town Hall meeting held at Mars Community Brewing tonight. We're going to try and cover all of that in the next 2 hours. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to get in contact with us, you can hit us up at lumpenfcradio@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You can also
right.
hit us up on Instagram at Barra Brava Brewing Co. on Instagram. And we will soon have a Bridgeport Pilsen firm Instagram as well. You can also find us on Twitch. So if you want to be a part of the show, you want to drop a comment, you want to give your point of view, hit us up on Twitch on Lumpen TV. And we are on live currently, and we'll try to get to your questions, try to get to your comments on Lumpen TV as well. Barra Brava Brewing Company is a proud sponsor of Lumpen FC, and you can currently find Barra Brava products at Mars Community Brewing in Bridgeport, Life on Mars in Logan Square, and at The Barrel in Pilsen.
Fresh batch, get it while it's hot.
Yeah, that number 9. So let's get started, guys. Let's get started with the Europa Cup. Right, so we just had a final: Manchester United versus Tottenham.
Oh, is that what that was?
Boy.
I mean, it was a showing, right?
Oh.
It was a showing.
Well, it was definitely a game of soccer.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
was it though?
All right, let's. What you had is Spurs taking the title over Manchester United. Was this the best, worst match that could be put together by UEFA?
I think we have to answer that after we see Real Betis Chelsea
Oh,
in the Conference League.
Actually,
that might be a better game.
Yeah, no, that is.
But see, but the Conference
Yeah,
League, though, that's the expectation, right? It's the Conference League. Like, it's the lowest of the low, right? Like, and no offense out there to anybody that's a Chelsea fan, but, you know, it's what it is. And that's the thing. So you have now a title contender in UEFA, in the Europa Cup, who is now going to make Champions League, qualified for Champions League, and they are squarely in what, like 16th and 15th place? You know, that's what that final was.
No, that was 16 versus 17.
Yeah, it was.
16th versus 17th.
Yep.
So now you're looking at two squads, two clubs that are just not it, right?
Very unique situation. I think it's happened before where, you know, a team would not qualify for the competition, they end up winning, but this, especially with them both being from the Premier League, was unprecedented, to say the least.
It was, and it wasn't a great game to watch.
No.
It was not a fun game to watch. I mean, we're talking about what, an own goal that made the decision in the end.
It was such a Spurs.
And leave it to
goal.
Manchester United to have an own goal to close up the season with. Like, it's what we do.
And on
right?
the
It's what
broadcast,
Manchester
they were
United does.
talking about, you know, Maguire. Like, they really were hyping it up. Like, Maguire
He was
gonna,
definitely, I mean, he was trying.
Yeah.
He was trying.
I mean, whenever Man U does that, let's put Harry Maguire at center forward and
The desperation
pray
thing.
desperately.
yeah.
It
Man,
worked
that's when it
earlier
gets
in the
good, actually,
competition,
for me.
though.
He's right. He just did work. But that's just like, man, I thought it's funny because I remember listening to someone that was like, yo, Manchester United, it's either going to be a very boring, uneventful game or it could be a 5-4 thriller. But the opposite, you know, the latter happened. It was definitely a boring game, and we just kind of just went through just motions, and it was an own goal or the goal. Like it turned around all of a sudden. Brendan Johnson celebrating.
Goal.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess. I mean, it kind of topped it off how everything kind of worked out. Like it was 16 versus 17. The funny thing was have been like if Tottenham was actually like in like 18th place, and they actually won.
They were getting relegated,
and
right
they were
now.
getting won. And they won. They were in Champions League, and I just kind of there's a part of me just was like, you know what? I just wish that they were actually in 18th place, and it was like, Man U may have been 7th, maybe 16th, whatever. It would have made Tottenham. Tottenham's 18th. They win, and now they have to do the championships plus Europa League and deal with annual levy. Like, that's like the Arsenal fans' like greatest dream. Like, oh my goodness, all that and some. Ooh wee. Like, there's no way.
This result sets up a lot of crazy situations, right? Because you now have a team that whichever one would have won, it doesn't matter. Either team should not be qualifying for Champions League, right? Like, come on, that's a ridiculous result. On top of which, you have two managers fighting for literally for their careers at this point with Ange and Amaron. Amaron maybe not so much as Ange, but Ange promised, right? He and cold as ice, right? He promised. My second year, I always win a trophy. And he did. He won that trophy. So, he did as promised. Now, does Tottenham keep him? Because it's been a horrendous year.
I had a
right?
Tottenham fan text me that, and he asked me the same thing. In my opinion, no, because you're still in 17th place, and that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like Ten Hag last season. Do you keep him because he won you a trophy, or do you move on because he's not that good?
Well, see, but that's what's crazy, though, because that does answer that question. In my opinion, we had to keep Ten Hag for a while because there was nobody else.
Yeah.
Who does Tottenham go after? Who is going to say, yeah, I'll take that Tottenham job?
If it were me, I would be going for Areola at Bournemouth. That's who I would target for Tottenham. But I don't know if that's possible.
I mean, would you leave Bournemouth to go to Tottenham at this point? And that's crazy that we're asking that question, right? Right?
You're in Champions League, so maybe.
Yeah, I think.
Right, I guess, yeah.
I think the other interesting aspect of this very unique matchup is that we'll see how it plays out next season, but you can make the argument that Manchester United ending up not in Europe will benefit, whether you want to call it a rebuild, revitalization next season, because they won't have those midweek games. It's happened a lot of times over the years where I remember having to Liverpool, Chelsea, it happened a few seasons ago where you don't qualify for Europe and then you do really well domestically. Doesn't guarantee it, but I think midway point next season, if Tottenham's in 17th again and Manchester United's in 5th, it's going to look like, that ended up working out well for them.
Yeah. Yeah, the hard part about it is, the attraction. Who will they get as far as players? Who do you want to go to Man U right now in the position that they're in, not in Europe whatsoever, no Champions League. So they can get players, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get the caliber.
It's not even
of players.
Confederations.
I thought
it's not even Conference League, right?
I mean, it's not like people are going to go to Spurs just because they.
Yeah, because I think
the team's so awful.
Yeah,
but Spurs does have certain things going for them, right? They have a nice stadium, they have good facilities.
I mean, but if it was a toss-up between Spurs and Man U, at this point you probably go Spurs because they've got Champions League.
Go ahead.
I was just say I think when Chelsea started doing really bad, and then it was kind of overlapping with Manchester United doing quite badly, I thought exactly what you're just saying. They wouldn't be able to recruit. Obviously, they haven't brought in the right players necessarily, but I was amazed, like Chelsea's 8th place season, some of the different finishes Manchester United's had. They're still able to bring in pretty good signings. They just don't work out. And I think a part of it is the cachet that you're talking about. People of a certain age who grew up with those clubs being giants, and that's probably what they remember from when they were kids. And the Spurs of the last few years, the Spurs went to the Champions League final. That's not what they grew up with. The Spurs wasn't in their, wherever they're coming from in the world, Spurs wasn't on their radar. And that's always hard for a team to overcome. It plays out a lot across the world with MLS versus South America versus other places that have these legendary clubs. But I think in the Premier League, when people are talking to their agents, they're like, if it's a badge I know, if it's a club I know, for similar money to going to a Bournemouth, even if the table Forest, they're going with the brand name, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I think the Manchester United badge has more ick on it at this point than the Tottenham badge, because you're looking at ownership. Like Tottenham is at least trying to turn that corner, right? Granted, they lost Kane, right? They lost they lost their best player, right? I mean, they just won a trophy, right? So
that doesn't mean.
I mean, that's corner.
If I was an agent what I would be worried about between these teams is that Ratcliffe is doing like a whole cost-cutting operation. So it's not so much about where the team's going to
Cost
finish.
cutting. No, you just
It's like, is the
he's
training
shutting
ground
it
going to have...
down. I think for a to
Well,
like a-
Yeah,
is he
it's like
gonna is he gonna move us somewhere or
You
what?
don't want to be going to
What do
the
they
place
call it?
that's going through extreme budget cuts, right? And that is definitely Manchester United right now.
It's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
what they did to
you're right.
Liverpool. It's like what Thatcher did to Liverpool. The managed decline.
The managed
It's
decline,
like the
yeah.
managed decline.
There's
The
a managed
menu.
decline. You're gonna be fine. Don't worry about
My
it.
question is though, even if you can find recruits and ones that you want, I kind of get the feeling that you're gonna have to sell someone like Bruno to maybe finance it. No,
Oh,
because you
we're
guys
gonna
are
have to
broke.
sell-
Is what is from what I understand.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's not so much that we're broke. It's that we still have people that we're paying that are playing for other teams.
Yeah.
We got people on contracts that we have to fulfill at least a percentage of those contracts, and then you what do you scout? Our academy program is not fantastic, right? It's not what it used to be by any means.
right.
So that's not fantastic.
Well, didn't you get Amad Diallo from?
Did you see him play?
I mean, yeah, but
To use the MLS
before
term,
his injury,
homegrown.
Right.
before his injury, he was probably one of y'all's best players.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the potential was there, but it's just that's
Well,
He just
we
came
are
back,
we're
though.
at
I think with the summer rest, he'll
today,
be all
you know?
right.
It's just funny you're talking about with the basically with the Tottenham and Spurs thing. It's like you think like they're gonna have like a massive spending spree thing, but like I feel like with FFP and everything, that's not gonna really happen. It's like Tottenham won a trophy, but like for me as an Arsenal fan,
But that's extra money.
I think that. It's a great because hopefully they keep Ange because I think he's an awful coach, and I want that trophy for them to be like keep him another year because I think if Scott Parker coaches that team, they'll be better. So I don't want Scott Parker to go there. I want Ange to be there because whatever that was I mean we've had what it was I mean that final was wild, right? 17 for 16. No one really thought that would happen. The EPL is probably the only league that it would happen in, and it's fitting that it was a boring game. Like it was very
great.
boring. It was awful, and like good for Tottenham for making it, but like doesn't mean like they're gonna have a great team next year.
Well, it was going into the game, you knew the narrative was going to be different depending on who won.
Right.
And it was like the amount one game versus all the other games. And I do think with the caliber of competition of the Europa League, to get to the final means more than like the Conference League. Like it was basically a cakewalk for Chelsea. Like
They have to win.
If you look
They
at
have
the
to win.
teams they beat, it's just not the matchups are ridiculous. Whereas like Manchester United had to have that crazy comeback and things like that. So they were beating legitimate teams to make it that far, and I'm not dismissing that. But narrative wise, I was like, if this is a 0-0 goes to penalties, basically a coin flip. One team and manager on the up and up, the other one, and it's just like not really accurate, but that's how things work when you win a trophy or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy result. The game was, look.
I didn't realize how nice that stadium is.
It is a nice. Oh yeah, no, that's a very nice stadium.
Yeah.
It's a very nice stadium. Where was it?
I bet Bilbao.
San
Bilbao.
Mamés.
Yeah, Bilbao.
I
That
bet.
was a very nice stadium.
You know how. I bet they jacked those rates up real quick when Bilbao lost. As soon as Bilbao lost, they was like, "Oh, these hotels are going up real quick, boy." Because it was. Man, you had two British teams in Bilbao.
Tourists-
oh man, you
tourists
already
out.
know people were fighting. That place was trash. They would have cut people off like everybody. So. Yeah, man. It was like, they're like, it's such a beautiful country. Basketball. Like, yeah, but when Tottenham and Man U go there, it's probably not as beautiful as it should be. Just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there.
With that said, with this result, what do we think the managers are gonna? What's gonna happen to this match? I don't think Manchester United can get rid of Amaron. It's just look, you just got him, and you handed him exactly what you handed him, which I can't say on the radio. So he came out second day after practice and was like, okay, no, this is going to be a while. This is bad, and it's going to be a while.
Well, I mean, that's why I was asking about the recruiting for you guys, because it's going to be necessary in order for Amram to get anything, because he's so hell bent on sticking to his system, which that your all team is not built for.
Well,
so if he's going to build, you need to bring somebody into
of the current roster. I think there's it might cost. I don't know when you're shutting down. Your staff's concessions room because you're trying to save money. At this point, you can't just close someone's contract because you're not going to be able to pay out the bonuses for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you sell Bruno to like the Saudis, for example? That's been one of the rumors, is to get as much money from
At this point,
him
yeah. I'd sell
and try to
Bruno.
build.
Right now, I'd sell almost everyone on that team. Almost everyone on that team. And I know that's not a possible thing. It's not probable. That's not going to happen. But who do we have on that squad right now that we can build around? Absolutely nobody. What are you going to do? Build around Casemiro?
No, he's gone. I thought.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what his contract is. So the build around Bruno was attempted 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and it didn't happen. It just didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't come to life. Garnacho? No. Hoyt? No. Who we
I
building?
feel like
around?
everyone you just named, they're like talking about selling.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing there that is base enough, foundation enough to like, okay, we're gonna start here.
I guess
and giving them, give them 4 years, whatever it takes.
Yeah, but if you sell Bruno, you might be able to find that someone to build around.
You're gonna have to convince someone to stick around for at least 3 years, and not get champions. Maybe get conference.
Impossible is nothing, sir. Tottenham Spurs. Thank you very much. So
again, you're talking about one of those situations where it's like, the sun shines in certain places where someone gets lucky.
Okay, so all right, now we're talking about do you think Man U's got a chance of getting left behind? Like Bournemouth's already gonna get parked apart.
Like relegated?
Your other team, Real Madrid already bought their center back. Semedo's probably gone. The left or right back maybe going to Liverpool. Like Bournemouth is there a team that was
Bournemouth's
This is a tough question.
That's a
tough question because I don't know. We no longer really know the financial situation for Manchester United. When the Glazers came in, how much was it that they were in the black? 700 million or something like that. 700 and some odd is in that ballpark. And now they're, I think, $1 billion in debt. So debt in the red, United. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and the Glazers have very little responsibility to it because it was a
Get
lean.
relegated. Just
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
over it.
yeah.
Get the parachute payments.
So what do you do at this point? Like, financial decisions have been bad.
If it was La Liga, you would just sell certain parts of your name. You just be like Man at some point and just have all your players just get registered, and then you get into it like a.
I don't
Champions
think
League
you can't
semifinal.
do that in
I don't
EPL?
think jersey sales are gonna cover
Wait, you
this
can't
debt.
do that in EPL?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. The way that not like La Liga's rather where you can't like have someone can't get registered and you just sell your name or something and then you get players.
Why don't you hold off from building up a new stadium and try to build up the team with that money?
That was not
And
a
then
good
play
PR
what?
move.
Play in the pool? Play in a pool?
He laid off everybody, and then the next day put out the $2 billion stadium rendering.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's where you're like, that's what we're dealing with here. So
Whatever, man. You could be my championship team. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
your championship team, that's fantastic.
I don't think
And at this point, it might.
there hasn't been a big club relegated since Newcastle, and we got. Everton got very close on a few.
They really tried.
Everton,
Yeah.
They gave it a shot.
The owner of Everton has like prayed to the god of like you won't win the title, but you will stay in the EPL.
And they stormed the pitch because they didn't get relegated.
Yeah. It's,
Did they ever?
no, they keep
Bless
beating
the
it.
Blues.
They keep they'll get saying whoever prayed to, they were like in relegation zone. You would deduct your points, but then they just start winning and tying players, and
it's tough for me to give any credit to Everton, but like the fact that some of these other teams got relegated when they got a 10-point deduction is like really
wild.
It's
wild.
It's not even Everton doing great as much as
Everton,
how are those other teams so bad.
They were sent to the bottom of the league.
And came back.
And still came back.
Yeah, and they Diced their way
Sean
through.
Yeah, like
They literally did.
through it all.
They literally did, yeah.
It's really wild that how they're still here.
Yeah.
And like comfortably still here.
Well, but I mean, some of those bottom teams are just bad, and then that's kind of the whole ladder situation, right?
Well,
those teams coming up, that's where it gets hard.
Southampton was going to be the worst ever, but they went on a winning streak. So Derby County still got that.
It's
Yeah,
like, no
they did.
offense,
Still
man.
Derby?
So you saying Everton is better than Manchester United?
I mean, in the league.
I mean,
so
the
far.
table says.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Table
the table
lie,
says.
right?
The table
Yeah,
says
table
yes.
don't lie. Table
The
don't
table
lie.
says yes.
The table
When we
don't
look
lie.
at the final accumulation of points, yeah, that's.
So you guys gonna hire
That's what
Sean
it
Dice? Okay, well at least we'll get a chance at
No, we're not there
Oh
yet.
my God,
you
that'd
got
be
to
so
do that.
much
You got to
fun.
do
Oh,
that. in
David
January.
Moyes.
do
Sorry,
that.
Sean, not Sean. It's David. David.
No,
David's
no,
at
no,
Everton
no.
right
That
now,
happens in
right?
January, sir. That happens in January, not in the summer window.
Oh wait, you guys already had David too, right?
David Moyes?
Moyes.
No,
Didn't
we had Moyes, yeah.
Yeah,
We
you
had
had
That was
Moyes.
right after Fergie.
Sir,
right after
Yeah,
Fergie, and that
that's
was like
right.
Fergie's.
He's the one that
pick.
recommended him.
Yeah, that was Fergie's pick. Like we need David Moyes,
Because
and
he
that's
knew
when
what
it
he
all
was
started
talking about.
collapsing.
He just wanted y'all to stay up.
Like that was it was that whole situation. I mean, we're still dealing with the issues with a racehorse. So
You know what? Can I? How?
Yeah,
what?
that's true.
Where? It's just kind of wild that I can't wait for this documentary about Manchester United, like especially with everything
Like
coming out. Like
Sunderland?
what? Yeah, like what? Like all this coming out now is like, where did all this? Like I don't know. Where did they go wrong with all this money spending? It would seem like y'all
the
was
Glaziers, when the deal that the FA allowed for the Glaziers to do, that's where it went all wrong.
But
in my opinion,
From someone who does not like them, I did find it odd how it was they had the yellow and green scarves and it was Glazers out.
right?
And then that went away for a few seasons and then they started doing badly again and it came back and it was like
I didn't even notice it was back.
it's been back a little this season and last season, but it was like if there was the financial stuff, now you're like bring it back out and it's like they don't even own it anymore. So it can't be like we only like the owners if we're top four and then if we go below that because like you're saying it was supposed to be about debt.
And then that's the other issues. Like I know I was getting a lot of negative comments from some of the people around me when we were top four. And I was like, no, this is a fake top four. I called it out back then. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like it's a glitch in the system. But the foundation of this club is bad. It's a bad foundation. Players don't want to come here. Coaches don't want to come here. But
you guys got DeLitt. You guys got Lenny Euro. You guys got players that
Have you seen the Euro?
And how are they doing?
Yeah,
DeLitt
I-
and
Wolf.
Euro and
Yeah, but-
Garnacho and and that's the other thing. So you bring these players who have talent, who have this capability. They get scouted. Hey, bring them in. Look at their stats. Look at the statistics on them. Blah blah blah. They can perform. Blah blah blah. They show up to Manchester United and they're awful.
Look what happened with
just
Anthony
fun,
after he left.
and then they leave, and then they leave, and they perform. So it's the club. You can fire a manager, you can get rid of players, but it's the whole thing. It just stinks from the top, and that's where the issue is.
I'm just saying you can still get players. I'm not saying that they're gonna work out, but,
Question-
transfer-wise, you can't
actually,
bring
no,
people
that's
in.
actually a good question. That they say that like with. All right, so I
It's
was
like any
actually-
business.
I was actually
Sometimes you go into a
thinking
business, and from the top it's bad, and nobody wants to be
this
there.
this interesting. This window's gonna be interesting because I think it's getting to the point right. There's usually like you can always buy players, but I don't think you can't always buy players anymore. I think it's getting to that point now.
No. With City getting scared the way they got scared.
I think it's gonna be very like it's tight. I think there's gonna be a lot more. Like again, like Arsenal. Luckily enough, we have our like money that we can spend, but I don't think it's gonna be like free spending anymore. It's like we have to.
But even that aside, I think they just need to build the roster in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think like
Yeah.
it's
coach
probably
the
about
academy.
bring in someone from Bournemouth, bring in someone from Brighton who did it on a smaller budget and can cobble together these players from around the world.
Yeah.
Who
Players
can play
from
in
the
a system-
championship.
Well, they
Japan,
Yeah.
Ecuador, all the places I'm thinking of that Brighton got players from, and then make a quote unquote budget squad because bringing in the Cavani's, these high.
Which Cavani was great.
Well, they're buying. Well,
Cavani was
they're
great,
buying
yeah.
like our academy players. But like I mean,
But that's
also,
what's crazy
like,
though.
You
See,
should
but
just
that's- That's the crazy
Coach your
conversation that we're having right now. Manchester United bringing in budget players to rebuild a squad so it hopefully works out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because you guys bought a bunch of big names throughout the years and it didn't work out. So
And
try,
paid them a lot
try
of
the
money
other
for
thing.
no reason.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
a lot
look
of
like
money
you
for no
bought
reason.
our like our
I was a
Arsenal. You bought our one of our strikers. Like somebody like he's like U18 kid, whatever. But it's like rather than having to buy it from us, maybe you guys like develop into coaching, so you don't have to like try to buy or like use academy players.
Well,
Well, I mean,
that's-
Ineos was looking at getting rid of the academy program altogether. So
y'all gonna be in the championship. Y'all could
Yeah.
be like the opposite of Wrexham. That'd be a
jeez.
great.
Dude, Wrexham's
documentary.
gonna take over your all's place.
Okay, but that's the thing, though. So
Jeez.
there's a lot of players. Like, think about it. The screaming arguments that we had was like, no, you're getting this player from what was it, from Dortmund? What was his name? And I was like, he's not good. He's not good. Shows up, he's not good. Like, they spent money on players that had big names, did well in certain leagues that that's not going to be Premier League. It's just not Premier
Jordan
League.
Sancho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I was the one to call it. It was like, he's not going to be good on this team. He's not going to. Not only that, he didn't even fit the squad at the time. Like, the position that he was put in, I was like, no, you're not. Well, what are you doing here, kid? Like, it's not going to work out. And those decisions were just bad decisions. And we have multiple of them. Multiples.
Yeah.
And now they all added up, and here we are. In, what is it, 17th place? 18th place? It doesn't even,
You're actually ahead of the people that won.
Not relegated. People that won the trophy.
Yeah, won trophy. Yeah, you're
Europa League runners-up.
Yeah, right. 16, 17 become behind the 17th team. So.
And it was crazy. Like 16th, 17th place team getting handed a second place medal in the Europa Cup. It's just like, all right.
I'm here for it because I hope Tottenham just keep their manager because that's all I want.
Okay, do you think Tottenham is going to keep it?
I hope so. That's all I got to say is I hope so. The team's trash.
I mean, he was out the door.
That team
weeks
is so
ago,
bad.
right?
I mean, they bring Scotty Parker. I just don't see it. It's one of those things, too, I'm looking at it like, I don't see how many teams can, like, bring in a lot of players right now, and I thought Tottenham was never really impressive. Their midfield is slow, like whatever it is. And then, so I'm hoping they keep Andrew. I hope they keep that high line. They're going to get demolished next year if they do. They're not. I mean, I don't know who wants to go. I really haven't heard anyone want to go sign and go play Tottenham.
I mean,
Anybody else? Anyone knows anyone want to go play Tottenham
Nah, I
Hotspur?
haven't heard
Nah, I mean Chris would probably go, but I don't know. It's just like,
does Tottenham make the same mistake that United made with Ten Hag? Oh, you won a trophy, so we'll give you a little bit longer.
I see it a little bit differently because I think Ange is he's a personality. He's kind of like a players coach type of guy, and I think that could work out longer term than some of the other people they've brought in. Is it the Europa League trophy in and of itself is not gonna fix everything, but I overall I always think generally managers are fired too frequently, at least in the Premier League and the other European leagues. So I wouldn't, unless you really think you are going to be able to improve things from day one, and I think you have to do it soon because obviously preseason isn't even that far away, and you don't want whoever comes in to have all Ange's players and whoever else he was going to bring in.
Yeah,
but
that's
I have a little faith.
I would hope they keep him because, if they get, unfortunately, because I think if they get Scott Parker, they'd actually become decent again. But there's also part of me that they need to get their midfield back. But honestly, it'll be interesting summer because with FFP and everything, I feel like this is gonna be a summer of people like more or less selling than buying a lot, but also just kind of getting their team ready for knowing that the next season's right around the corner. And for Arsenal, we may get rid of Martinelli, but we still got to stock up because we know we just have it's gonna be a longer season now. There's more games, more competitions, so it's I'm not trying to
just about Scott Parker real quick. I've seen that move so many times.
I know he does fail.
The young, somewhat suave English manager going from mid-table to a top team, quote unquote. I feel like it never works out. Like Graham Potter.
Yeah,
it gets hard.
It
happens. Scott Parker just did Burnley, right? Burnley, he was coach of Burnley that just got promoted, but he was at Fulham. He kind of has been back and forth. I think he already coached at for some reason. I think he already coached at Tottenham, but he does I feel like he's got his because Frank Lampard was awful.
Wasn't he?
And he was at Coventry. He brought Coventry almost to the
Coventry.
Yeah,
Coventry almost moved
But
up.
Scott Parker was at Bournemouth or Southampton?
Yeah, he was at Bournemouth.
Yeah, and then
Bournemouth.
Yeah, so I think he's kind
I'm
of
just saying I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It
Listen,
usually doesn't work out.
I'm okay with it. I think most teams need to keep their coaches in general because the slim pickings out there.
I don't think there's going to be much moves in the coaches department.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
But I love Angie because he's
we'll
hard.
definitely keep on this conversation just after this break. You're listening to WLPN LP Chicago 105.5 FM Lumpen Radio. You're listening to Lumpen FC, and we will be right back.
Yes, Gomez Peña is back. The Mix Files are back in Lumpen Radio. Now, broadcasting from both San Francisco Califas and Mexico City. Acompáñenos.
Buddy gives artists and small manufacturers in Chicago a place to showcase and sell their goods and artworks. Buddy retails to a vast audience of Chicagoans and visitors at the Chicago Cultural Center. Buddy is a shop as local as it gets. Buddy is part of the nonprofit Public Media Institute. Visit hi-buddy.org for more information.
Second promo. 30-second promo. 30-second promo. You've never heard anything like this before. It's postmodern talking with Bobby Kahn and TJ LeDuce. Only on WLPN 105.5 FM. 30-second promo.
Welcome back. You're listening to WLPN LP Chicago 105.5 FM Lumpen Radio. You're listening to Lumpen FC. We've been talking about coaches that might get fired and won't get fired, will get fired. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think that, other than the move that Ancelotti going to Brazil, granted Leverkusen's just getting picked apart right now. But I think we saw that happening. Which, you know what? They're going to make what? Close to $1 billion on the top players that sell. What, they get rid of their top three along with their manager. You're looking at what?
If you're a Leverkusen fan, you got, you reverse the curse, to use the old Boston Red Sox phrase, and you kept your manager for a season longer than anyone else thought he would. Like,
they did great.
You gotta enjoy that, and even the squad stayed together a little more so.
Yeah. I think Leverkusen, I don't think they're going to get relegated, but I think they're definitely going to get. The Vultures have just been swarming around that team.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, they're only going to lose maybe 2 players right now. I don't know what they're going to do with the rest.
Because that's because people can't afford them.
Yeah, but they will get. I mean, if they sell Florian Wirtz, they'll get at least 100 to 150 mil euros
for one.
Yeah, and then
one.
Frimpong, we did the release clause from him because that was in his contract. So that was only 35, I think.
Yeah.
So they'll get at least close to maybe 200 just off of those 2 guys, maybe a little bit less, but which should be enough to help them out to fill in the gaps there. But the coach is the big thing there. I don't know too much about the Bundesliga, and I don't know who they would actually go for, but that would be interesting. Xavi's going to be tough to replace.
So it's over with in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
If Wirtz goes to Bayern Munich.
Oh yeah. They don't even need him.
Frimpong,
That's the thing.
Yeah, Frimpong to Liverpool. It's just back to the old Bundesliga. Bayern Munich win the league.
Yeah.
Fun's over.
Yeah, fun's over. It was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? The same things that Bournemouth, they're going to picked apart. At least the EPL will have 10 teams in Europe probably for the next 5 years because of the whole thing's going on. But man, it's sad to see because also with FFP, they're not going to be able to do a lot. It's not like, oh, we got rid of Xavi and Forlan Wirtz. Like that 100 whatever it is for Forlan Wirtz isn't going to buy you a whole team anymore. It's going to buy you a few players because all these teams are going to look over their back and make sure they don't get relegated points for misspending. So yeah, I feel like I honestly just think things are gonna go a little. It's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard for a lot of these teams that think they may have some money to buy players, and when they realize they may be able to buy one player from selling 3, and I think that's a big thing that's gonna happen, and that may be a thing why people aren't gonna be selling their players too, because why can we sell our players? Because we need these players. You know what I'm saying it's one of so it's wild. I feel like there's a lot more strategic transfer going on than it was before. And it was just because even with Chelsea, some of their players want to leave. But I just feel it's these other countries, it just feels like it's hard because all these stuff who you say who's Frankfurt going to sign her? Who wants to go to Spurs? Who can they afford this? Like, who wants to go to Spurs? Like, the line is so it's going to be a lot. I feel like it's going to be more loans than anything. It's like loanies on loanies on loanies with options to buy.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because, for example, like you said, Frankfurt, they sold Marmouche to Man City. I don't know how much they got for him. Like, what was it, like 65, 70?
65, 68, yeah.
So they have that money, but it's like, yeah, who do you get with that money?
Right.
You know, who's really out there that's available, you know, that can at least get you somewhat similar goals.
It's like you can buy 5 MLS players or, like, be halfway to Rafael Leao. You know what I'm saying? Just halfway, like not even like who else you can give up, which is wild. I feel like if I was a scout, I feel like the scouts and like the scouts or the dudes and all that have like some of the hardest jobs right now because
guys like Michael Edwards and Hughes that we have at Liverpool, those guys are going to be. That's who you should really recruit. Is guys like that who can recruit for you.
So are we looking at another era coming up where everyone's going to have to concentrate on academy programs?
Well, I think so. They're going to start banging on their coaches, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which it should be. Great. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be like you know what I'm saying? Like even I a lot of them see it Barcelona is a great academy, which again, with all the controversy with Barcelona, and I say like all these things are still their academy's doing a great job. I don't know how they're doing it. Are those coaches getting paid? But how those coaches not poached? These guys keep bringing out brilliance, but this club has no money.
Yeah. Or you find somebody who recruits for you like Brighton does, and they just find these gems out of nowhere and build them up. You know, McAllister was just there. They got him for like $7 million or something like that. You know, it's there. You can find those. I feel like teams like Man U could possibly poach those kind of people, but you better do it like now.
But I think we got rid of all our scouts because you got to save that money.
Then with the lunch ladies, you guys got rid of
the
all
lunch ladies. We got rid of everybody, so I don't know how that's going to happen.
But yeah, I agree with that. I think there's been more. It's like people stopped poaching others players, and now they're going for their academy kids. Like we did that to Chelsea this past summer with Ngamoa. He was like this 15-year-old prospect that everybody loved at Chelsea, and some of those Chelsea fans were really mad that happened, that we like poached him.
Right.
You know, that you might see way more of that.
But Chelsea fans are okay. Look, like what do they have?
No,
like
I know.
900 players on their list right now. Like
17 goalkeepers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
and none of them are that good.
No, yeah, and those contracts are for the 30 years. Like, I don't know what Chelsea's doing, but they're doing something.
Sure.
It's just one way to corner the market, I guess. I want to buy everyone, and then you're gonna have to pay me for somebody.
Yeah,
it's a different tactic. We haven't seen that one before. Outside of Manchester United, Tottenham, how do you guys feel about Liverpool and their current rosters and manager? Okay, manager's fine, right? Like, that's not not an issue, right? He's all right. He seems to get it done.
He's all right, yeah.
But roster wise, what do you guys think?
I mean, losing Trent.
And we'll get to that. We'll talk about the. It's not a controversy, but a controversy, I guess.
I think it's one of those. If and when he was going to leave, it was always going to be, unless he really was, later stages of his career, it was going to be a little contentious. But I think, strictly from the on the field perspective, he did make a lot of things happen. A lot was made of his, defensive lapses over time, but still not, an easy guy to replace in between England and Liverpool. Showed he could play multiple positions. Maybe not at the full strength at all the positions, but I mean, right. I think he really almost single-handedly ushered in a new type of right back, and to see that walk away is tough.
Yeah, that does sting a bit. What softened the blow for me is remembering like all the trophies that he got us. That helps.
Like every single
if
one.
He wasn't going to Madrid,
every single trophy.
Aside from Manchester United, Everton, of course, and Real Madrid. If it wasn't any of those three teams, I think it would be easier. Right. But that makes it harder.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So before we go into the non-controversy that is Trent Alexander, any other players that you think, okay, we got to make a change there? Or
sounds like Darwin's out the door, which I don't think anyone's gonna miss him.
I know, and I really love him, but yeah, he's got to go. He just didn't work out, and I don't think Slot plays with that kind of his system plays
Right.
with that kind of forward
Mhm.
either. There's rumors of Jota of leaving. I don't think we'll get rid of him. I think we'll keep him for depth.
Like just a off the bench
Yeah.
hero.
I also think there's times season to season when you have a player who maybe through injuries, maybe through just not being preferred in the system, doesn't get a lot of playing time and kind of gets a target on his back. And then the next season there's an injury or things change, the formation changes, and they come in and they show you why they were brought in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's one with Jota where I think the body of work at Liverpool is long enough that I certainly don't want him off the team. And I think next year you could see a resurgence. And I've seen that happen many times with different players where they have a bit of an off season. There's a very what have you done for me lately league and team. And then sometimes that restraint that you can show and it pays off the next season when now you have an experienced guy knows the system, is comfortable in the city, all of that, and can jump right in and help you off, whether it's starting or off the bench, versus an unknown quantity you're bringing in that can backfire.
Yeah, the other one is that is rumored to leave is Luis Diaz to Barca. Those rumors have popped out. To me, that's a trade
What's he gonna go do in Barca?
it doesn't really make sense to me because
What's he gonna go fill there?
I don't know. The thing is, the rumor is that I think we're asking.
I think they got all their positions pretty set. So,
No.
I mean,
So
even their backups.
No, this is why it doesn't make sense for Barca. It doesn't make sense for Luis Diaz, in my opinion, because why is he going to go? Because he's not going to bench Rafinha on the left.
No.
If he's going to take over for Lewandowski, Barca can get a better number 9 to replace
I
Lewandowski.
think there was one thing that I think was like Luis Diaz would be a price cut. So they may not be able to afford Rafinha.
No, he just I
Barcelona
read something that
can't
he's
afford?
already going to
Maybe that's why I thought that was because Rafinha was talking about he was getting like up to he's like open to being like sold.
Last I heard though, he was already they're already on contract negotiations with Rafinha, so they might have figured something out. It's Barca.
I mean, it's Barcelona. Yeah, they
They'll
probably
figure
sold
something
like half the stereo systems like Rafinha. So like
They found
like, right.
that treasure. That
It
treasure.
literally just says Rafinha when someone scores now. It's just like not even who actual person scores. It's just Rafinha's name that helps him make sure he's registered to be able to play.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause that's
yeah.
how
They
it
were
works
able
in
to
La
transfer
Liga.
some money off of a Cayman Island somewhere.
Right. I mean, we
We
were
don't
asking
know where it came from.
Yeah,
because
sorry, Nate. I know you're a Barcelona fan.
but they can't afford him they can't afford for what we're asking for Luis Diaz. Last I heard, they actually I think they threw out a number and we're like, no, that's too low.
How much are you asking for Luis Diaz?
I don't. Well, so I think we were quoting him for 80 mil.
Oh,
70 to 80?
Okay.
No, 70 to 80.
It's going to be tough to
This
find a
bubble
bigger,
is big. This is a
bigger
big
Luis
bubble.
Diaz fan than me. I have his jersey. I love the way he plays.
No, he's
but
great. I don't want to
even I would have to agree that that's a pretty big price.
No,
tag.
I think it's like 70 to 80, and they wanted to give us like 50 to 60. It was something like that.
Yeah, but he's another guy. I mean, I just love that kind of player who's always fighting for the ball.
Yeah.
Really tenacious, always puts in a good shift, and I think that's another one where in the Premier League that can be invaluable and still has a lot of skill. And again, didn't have the best season this season, but the season before I thought he was great. And again, he's not one I would get rid of. But when you win the league, it's hard to pick. There's some people on the fringe, but overall, your 18-man roster is usually like you're not remembering anyone's bad performances because
Yeah. I mean, I would probably.
How do you feel about McAllister?
He's probably one of our best. He's probably our
But like
best midfielder.
if someone came in and dropped 100,
They can go to hell.
right.
I'm not
All
getting rid of McAllister.
Also, who is going to have 100? Like who can afford to pay $100 million and not
I also think
be
that
screwed?
Liverpool over the years has
I mean, Atletico Madrid's looking.
earned the
Real Madrid's looking.
Yeah, earn the fans' trust in terms of moves. Because I remember when Coutinho left, thinking like,
Yeah.
"This is horrible. This is my favorite Liverpool player the last
Yeah.
few seasons." And then they parlayed that into an all-time squad. So, and even I remember a lot of people thought getting Van Dijk for the all-time record for a defender from Southampton was like a huge misstep, and Liverpool over the years has kind of like earned that trust. I know different people have been in the position, but overall, as a club, they've done a good job. So
That money ball.
even if McAllister was to go, I would trust at this point that it was for the right reasons and they're going to bring in someone who could replace him. But on the face of it, it would be a tough one.
Yeah, because I don't think you're gonna be able to keep McAllister forever, because that's the kid's got talent, right? And if it develops even more so, then it's gonna be tough to keep him.
Well, it'll be one of those things of, because he's South American, so he probably wants to play for the two teams that all South Americans want to play for. But
I get that vibe from him less
Yeah.
than especially a lot of the Brazilian players. But another player who's like that for Liverpool that was Xabi Alonso himself.
True.
I mean, he, obviously an amazing player, but you lose him and you're like, but again, there were some off years in between, but no one's looking back now thinking, oh, if they just kept Xabi Alonso, everything would be different.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay, so we're going down the rundown. I know you stepped out real quick. We're going down the rundown on what players you would possibly get rid of. I know you got Martinelli. Look, from my
Arsenal's
perspective, Martinelli's not the most fantastic player for Arsenal, and I think you guys could probably find something better in that position.
Yeah, I do too.
Arsenal's in such a tough spot because they had a good Champions League run, second again, just good enough where you don't want to change too much.
They just need that push.
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
that's a very. I feel like that's harder than coming in fourth or fifth.
We got, in my opinion, we got everything we need for the most part. If we add, if we add Zubimendi, we add number 9, cool. Keep all the defenders.
Zubimendi's not coming cheap though, right?
Getting 60 million.
60.
60
standard. Yeah. That's
We've
been all. That's why another reason we've been even Sesko and we're not 62. That's 60 to 70 is the
But
price.
there's so many other players that are I don't think, in my opinion,
Who?
are better than Zubimendi that are going for higher prices.
I mean, but also you got to think. I think which also a lot of clubs are doing. Arsenal say smart clubs are doing. Do I spend $100 million on Isak, or do I spend that's the thing? Or do I spend $60 million on this Victor Art and Sesko, which are half the price? You save more money, but we got Zubimendi. I think that's going to be a lot more of those price. The 60 million range is kind of be where you're going to be at and have a good comfortable player and have a squad. Because again, we play more games. We have 5 subs. We're going to have to start using that. There's no excuse that most clubs are going to have to start using their roster next year, and that's kind of thing. It's I think Arsenal had a tough face. We have Ethan, but Ethan's Saka.
Yeah.
Martinelli we can get rid of and bring in someone else. We sell him. I guess he valued at 50. I don't mind selling him. He's whatever to me, to be honest with you. But the thing is, Partey and Jorginho, we got to look at that.
Jorginho, yeah.
I like
Partey,
they're saying
yeah.
Zubimendi is supposed to be in there, but he's short, and I'm not a big fan of that. Also, I think we need to get that attacking center mid kind of taken care of too. So if we get a cut rate for center forward, defense we're fine. We have plenty of defenders. This guy get surgery and healthy, you know what I'm saying. But the midfield needs to get straight because we're gonna get rid of the older heads in the CDM, and I would like a bigger guy. I like bigger guys in my center.
Arsenal is a big team.
I thought Zubimendi was a Jorginho replacement.
That's what I thought.
But they're both. But Partey
not a
Partey. They're both in this, but they both kind of play both the same position. They're both older too. I wouldn't mind if Partey stays, dope. But which I think he stays because I don't see them both leaving. Jorginho to Brazil, yeah. If Partey stays, then Zubimendi, all right, I'll take that. But we still have Odegaard. He plays every game. We got to figure that out.
Odegaard plays.
So we got to get that. And that's the thing. That's the cool thing is I would rather find Verts. Of course, it's not going to happen unless you're playing FIFA or EA Sports, FC.
Yeah.
But if we could find a cool, if we get Eze for something, or not even Eze, or if we have this guy Max Dowden, who's our U15, who's kind of killing at U18, so it's I think, and which is to me, I would rather bank on we find a young center attacking midfielder because Odegaard's only 20 something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we get a younger dude from I kind of like this way of soccer honestly more than buying everybody. I love the fact that, and we kind of in Arsenal, for good fact, we've been doing that. We've been starting. I like the fact that you have to do your lobmacy and you have to kind of rely on your development on your club.
So
rather than just buying all these players, like we could sell a whole bunch of players. We have no problem, but like we actually like for Man U, we're selling them our forwards. You know what I'm saying? They're 18.
And we're thinking about getting rid of the program. Like it's insane.
Which like that's kind of ideal. I think that's what makes people like Chelsea. That Chelsea makes everyone in England sick because of the way they just buy players instead of like developing people. You know what I'm saying?
For those of you listening out there on the radio waves and on Twitch, the reason we're dropping all these names and these numbers and so forth is because the trade window is opening up, and it's not like American professional sports where there's a draft or anything like that. You have to go out and scout. You have to go out and find players from other teams or other academy programs, or develop them within your own academy program. So that's why we're like, where are we going to find these players? And we are kind of in that era right now. Barcelona is a perfect example, and Real Madrid as well, where we're having a generational change. You have the older guard that's moving on to MLS, and then the younger kids coming in and taking up those roles. And the numbers that we're dropping, we're talking about 100 million, 80 million, 60 million. Those are usually just release clause numbers. So the numbers usually escalate from that point, because your agent's going to take a cut and they're going to get a percentage. Your parents are going to ask for some, and the contracts balloon from that point on. And we're not even talking about the weekly pay, which can run up into the $200,000 a week, $300,000 a week, $100,000 a week, on top of just getting that what we call the transfer money, which is just the capability to talk to a player. There might even be a fee to just be able to talk to a player. Like, you want to talk to him? That's going to cost you $10 million.
Oh, you mean the rights?
Yeah, the rights. Yeah.
The rights.
So
KDB rights.
But I just wanted to say on the Zubimendi thing, you were asking like, how could he be so cheap? You have to remember also that I think it's his last year in the contract.
Yeah,
I think Real Sociedad is just like, we need to get something for him.
Sociedad needs to get something.
Because they know La Liga ain't nobody get no money except one team. Yeah, maybe two. Supposedly two.
No, it's about four. It's about 4 teams that get the money.
You're right. That's a hard.
It's about 4.
Okay, about 3.5. three for the most part.
Hey, it's better than Bundesliga, where it's just
whatever, man. You got to pay for 4 in Barcelona. I'm over here. I keep forgetting Nate's a Barcelona fan. I be feeling bad because I can't stand.
I'm not really.
All right, my
I
man.
like them, but
actually, you know what?
Barcelona adjacent.
We actually, we should. Nate's a Celtic fan, and no one ever talks about the Scottish League here. I feel like
have to talk about the Scottish.
I feel like we should give him.
We got the cup final Saturday.
Yeah, that's true.
Against Aberdeen, so it could be the treble to win that.
I feel like we don't give that. We give that league no. We don't talk about the league at all.
What happened to Rangers? How did they fall off so hard?
What happened?
Well, like a few years back.
Yeah,
they went out of business.
They went into administration.
Yeah, they went into administration.
But weren't they like winning everything for like
yeah, I mean it's and they so technically the team that is now called Rangers is not the same like organization. That's why you'll see Celtic fans call it Sevco, because that's like the rebrand that they brought back.
Oh, I did not keep track of that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But now there's been a lot. It's beyond a rumor. There's a lot of reports that the owner of the 49ers, who also owns Leeds, is going to take them over. So as usual, Rangers fans have been embarrassing themselves wearing like bootleg 49ers stuff, and because they really need the money. So, but if that does happen, it will be a little bit of it will definitely change the dynamics that have happened over the years. But Celtics won most of the titles over the last 20 years, but the most recent one that Rangers won was when Steven Gerrard was the manager and all that. So.
This is what happens when you let Steven Gerrard leave.
That's
why we didn't let him leave.
They want him back.
We didn't let him leave, man.
They want him back. The Rangers fans were clamoring for him because they fired their previous manager. But right now, the all-time Scottish League titles is tied at 55.
55.
So 55.
So Celtic Aberdeen in the finals.
Saturday.
I mean, you got Celtic, I'm sure.
I really wish I was there, because when Pete's sitting there talking about, there goes Nate I'm just like, I wish I could just go stumble around there to get my little early breakfast and be there.
I mean, we
that
can.
early. And like,
Nothing's stopping you.
I mean, we can. You're right. But actually, I don't have to work this Friday. I could stumble in there Saturday. I could if it's y'all the ones I need to worry about. It's you guys. I'll get up.
Well, you said it's Saturday, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
we got
At
the women's.
That's at
Champions
1
League.
o'clock though.
Is it 1 or 2? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I
That's
make it
a
there.
marathon. That's
I
a
just
long
want to
day.
get there because the kitchen be open, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah. And he be
what time is it at?
like early. What time is that?
it's at 9.
9
yeah,
a.m.
that's not too bad.
not-
I
that's not
live.
bad.
We all like to live relatively close, so it's like. But I love hearing like Pete talking about when y'all drunk singing songs.
And this is you're going to Embassy, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, we had to leave Embassy
Was it one Barcelona?
for the
was one?
Barca game, yeah, because they had it.
Yeah.
And it was I had my Real Madrid jersey on and my scarf, but yeah, I didn't want to. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to.
But yeah, but Nate, it's legit the only guy that's like talking about Celtic, like the Scottish League in general. I remember, I feel like I used to have like friends that was talking about Rangers and Celtic.
they
Now
have
it's just
a-
like now it's literally just you. You're
They,
the
they
only
have a
person that talks about.
long. The league relatively has had a lot of American players over the years.
Oh
so
yeah.
Cameron
yeah.
Carter Vickers and
Yeah.
Austin Trusty are on
Yeah.
Celtic right now, but even back.
DeMarcus Beasley, baby.
DeMarcus
Yeah,
Beasley got
Beasley,
robbed.
that's
Boca
in
Negra.
Glasgow,
Boca Negra.
Yep.
yeah,
Claudio
that's
Reyna.
true.
Ooh,
Reyna,
Claudio,
Yep.
City
And
boy
even,
too.
With the leagues.
That is literally my Trump when I talk to Man City people and they're like, I was like,
If they don't know
yeah.
Claudio Reyna.
When I told them I dropped the Claudio Reyna, I was like, oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah. They're like, how long you been a fan? I was like, do you know Claudio Reyna play for your club? Who? I just,
Yeah.
Next.
I win.
Next.
Got you.
I go Stephen
I'm better
Ireland,
than
which
you.
is
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Stevie.
That's a little more recent.
Not Bald Prince.
But even I think with the leagues, I think it's changed a little bit over the years. But there's been a lot of transfers between MLS and the Scottish League over the years. And Chris Mueller plays for the Fire,
Mueller,
played
that's
for
right.
Hibernian, and so yeah. It
Yeah,
also they also
No big deal.
well he didn't it didn't work out. So
Of course,
but
right.
it worked out better than actually Gutman,
Bro.
who's also on the Fire now. Like didn't make the Celtic squad.
You know who I always wanted to be like great? He played for Marisa Dew when he played for.
Yeah.
God, I wanted Marisa Dew to be great. He played
Tim
for-
Weah played for Celtic as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
They
did.
all do.
Did Serginho Dest was loaned there, right? At Celtic?
that sounds right.
He was loaned there, right? Am I not? He was assigned, but he was loaned. Was he not loaned there? Or was he played? Did he play there? I think like we've had a recent American play there recently.
I think
Other than
I think
CCV and
Des
Trusty?
may have gone through the Scottish League, but I don't know for what squad.
I don't. I remember him just
asking.
Barcelona,
right?
PSV, and then AC Milan. Those are the-
Yeah, I think it was probably AC Milan. But I was like, who's the latest? Like, we have to have a.
And also
American
there's
there.
The Alistair Johnston's on Celtic, who's like the Canadian defender as well.
Yeah, man. You know, we were talking about Canadian. We were talking about Buckingham for Villarreal.
Oh yeah.
And they beat Barcelona this weekend. It was like,
That's right.
Yeah, Canadian kid. That's crazy. What a time to be alive. yo.
Yeah, no, I mean,
We're
Champions
talking
League,
about-
baby.
I didn't know
It
that
is
many
wild.
U.S. men's team players went through.
I mean, that's a Canadian player for
Scotland.
Villarreal, man, beating Barcelona. That's
Yeah,
Taj Buchanan.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, growing up, we didn't even know Canada had
Bruh.
soccer.
Well, they kind of had this. I don't want to call it a golden generation, but last few seasons with Alphonso Davies, Kyle Larin, they had a pretty
JD.
strong squad, and it looked like I thought they were going to be Mexico in the Nations League, and that didn't work out. But I think,
Jonathan David's low key, like
Yeah,
pretty
exactly,
solid. You
exactly.
know,
Yeah.
pretty solid, right?
oh man, who's the guy? I'm blanking on his name. He played for Besiktas for a long time. Atiba Jefferson. Atiba Hutchinson.
Hudson,
yeah.
Oh,
Hudson, yeah.
He's a solid player. So it seemed like they were and the U.S. and Mexico at the same time were kind of faltering, and like it looked like Canada kind of had the perfect opportunity to not take over the region, but be sort of in that conversation. There was a 2-horse race for so long, and it hasn't really happened. And Jesse Marsh,
Bro.
I
Jesse
mean,
Marsh
Marsh is
at the
doing.
helm.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing all right. Like I like what he's doing up there, and honestly, I think Canada's going to show up. Granted, I don't think either three teams, Mexico, U.S., or Canada, are going to take the World Cup. Let's be realistic. But I think Canada might show up strong.
I mean,
So
Canada
we'll see
could
what
win the
happens.
Gold Cup, right? Because we ain't showing
Yeah, they
up.
could.
We ain't showing up.
Ballistic isn't showing up.
Yeah,
He's taking the
right.
summer off, and then we're not gonna have the Juventus guys. So
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Plus, we have everyone coming.
Not even the Cardoso.
We have
Cardoso going to Atletico Madrid. Hey.
and we got
let's
every
go.
league coming through here this summer. So, like,
I mean-
EPL is going to be here. Serie A is going to be here.
Club World
Oh, you
Cup.
Club
poor
World
clubs,
Cup.
man.
Like, it's going to be nuts.
Oh, Club World Cup.
You're listening to WLPN LP Chicago 105.5 FM Lumpen Radio. You are listening to Lumpen FC. We've been currently talking about the trade window and especially the Europa Cup, which was what it was. Let's move on to the Champions League because we still have a match to watch in Champions League. Let's begin with, what do you guys think, since we've been through the entirety of this new system, what do you think about this new system?
I was on record in this studio talking about that I like the new format, and I feel vindicated because I do think on the balance it worked out, and I don't necessarily know that it led to more upsets. You know, that last match week there were still some bad games, but I think that's just any tournament. If whatever team that was, Slovan Bratislava, if you have 0 points going into the last match week, like, they got to play somebody. There's just not a way to kind of legislate it out. So on the balance, I think it worked out. It was a good change that still led to a lot of good games, and I think the way it worked out was very odd in that some teams got a raw deal in having to play like a Real Madrid or a Bayern. Celtic was one of them. Even though, because those teams were also ended up not finishing that high. So I think it gave, if the table turned out to be a little bit more predictable in some ways, there probably would have been some better matchups. But because of how it worked out with some of those really strong teams finishing lower, you had situations where, like,
Yeah, like City barely got it.
yeah, and it was like, Villa was playing. Did they play Real Madrid? Or Bayern? I think it was Bayern. It was like, you know, a rough deal for them, but overall, I think the format was good.
I think that the incentive to get maybe, what is it, the top 8 or top 7 that
To get the bye, to use an American term.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, well, that didn't work out for me because there was no real. I guess maybe home field advantage or something like that, but even that wasn't.
But I think that's what I think. It'll be interesting to see what happens next season, because I think with the way the teams worked out, like, if I recall correctly, Villa was one of the teams at the bye, so like they got
The rest.
a round off, but then their reward was playing Bayern Munich. So,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Same with us. We ended up with PSG.
Yeah.
Like,
And then you ended up playing, I think, Bayern Munich at Bayern Munich too for the first game, right? So
no, Liverpool, no.
no, Villarreal.
no, Villa.
Villa. Sorry,
Yeah.
Villa.
I don't remember how it was reversed, but I just remember thinking, like, they punched above their weight, and then the way the cookie crumbled was
Yeah.
they got Bayern Munich.
You did great. Here's your
Yeah,
punishment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the incentive to do that, like, in other words, to win the league table, you don't really get anything for getting first place.
But I think
don't
if you
so.
think about the old format, like, was it, I think 2 seasons ago, Liverpool went, like, undefeated, and your reward is you finish first, and then you play the winner of Group B or whatever the next group is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Your margin of victory is, like, it matters in the coefficient, but in terms of that actual competition, it doesn't matter. Where, like, Liverpool being top of the table ostensibly gave us, like,
PSG,
an advantage,
the
but
way-
it ended up not working
Yeah,
out.
the
But,
way the brackets were set up were kind
but
of
before
like
it
if you
was-
finish first place, you should be playing last place.
and at
you
least
know?
I think it was like in the other format, it was more about the draw. So then your group, let's say you're in Group A, and you win Group A, and then you play the runner-up from Group B. If Group B happened to be a very weak group, you
Yeah.
made out. Whereas now you're playing a team that has performed worse in the tournament, which
Yeah.
I think overall will end up working out. I don't think that played out this season, but I remember, when Liverpool went to the final, as much as I was enjoying it, that famous corner taken quickly season, it was like, I forget the first team and then Porto, but it was like we, on the balance of who was still in the competition, we got the best. We
Oh,
got
no.
lucky each time.
That, if I remember correctly, that run up to the final was tough. I think we had like Bayern. We had to play PSG, or maybe it was Porto.
No, that was the other season.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it went two different ways, but the one before that, which was the Barcelona comeback that we then ended up losing. Up until Barcelona, it was like, I remember it was Porto, and I forget the other two teams, but it was like, the first one was a different team, but it was like 6-0 on aggregate. Like it was not a cakewalk, but it was not Champions League, quarterfinal semis that you would expect.
Yeah.
There will be a slight difference this time around because the way they factor in the percentages for who's going to be seated where, that's going to be factored in differently this time because it's not the first year.
Yeah.
So okay, I can see that. The one thing I don't like, in my perspective, is that if you lose those first rounds, you get kicked out. You don't go to Europa, and I think they should bring that back because there's just some teams in Europa that
Yeah, well, once they expanded to the Conference League and they took away that relegation, if you will, Europa, like, the level of competition there definitely fell off, and you could see it even watching, like, the Whip Around Golasso show. Like, it just wasn't.
They were.
Yeah.
Their predictions were like, they'd be like 18 goals, they'd be like 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was pretty
It's
nice.
like 30 games. It'd be like,
It was not great.
And then
Like, it was not great to
the
watch.
Conference League. So I think exactly like what that injection of Champions League caliber teams into Europa was always like a good thing. Whereas now they have something similar, but between Europa and the Conference League, and it's like that's not.
Yeah. All things considered, like I do like the system.
I do too.
To be honest,
It is dope.
it is. I think there's some.
Dope.
All I'm saying is I think there's some kinks to iron out, but I think overall I did like it. I did like the experience of it.
I don't think anyone could really sit here and say, I miss my 4-team group.
Dude.
Top 2 advance.
Yeah.
Like
I love Bodo.
I kinda
the
miss
fact,
that.
like, what if Bodo Glint would have won? Right? Like,
I mean, they did put on a good run.
right?
I'll
Like,
give
you know
it
what
to
I'm saying?
Bodo
Like,
Glimt.
but that's
But-
like,
but
that
it's-
was the purpose, right?
Yeah.
Like, and what if Real Betis wins? You know what I'm saying? Like,
The one thing that we can say, that's the one thing we can say about this structure is that, you still ended up with the same teams, right? You still ended up with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Arsenal, PSG, Inter Milan. Like, you still ended up with the old school, like the same teams. You still ended up with the same, the cream will rise, right?
I see what you're saying, but I don't think it's like the same. I thought it was way more competitive, more entertaining, and also, like in my opinion, I thought this whole layout of how this tournament went kind of made a statement for the EPL and how the EPL is clearly like the stronger team in the league when they're doing all these extra games, no breaks. And yeah, we still have how many teams in Europe now? I think it's kind of good. I think it exposes other leagues. Like we're gonna have 10 teams and probably 10 teams in Europe, regardless of Europa and Conference League. But I think it's other leagues need to like take a look in the mirror and see how competitive they actually are. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some, it's funny because like someone like PSG, what that exposes what we already knew, which is they don't have to worry about the league.
Right, they were done two months ago.
They
also
rested like an entire week before they played you guys.
Right.
I think a part of the issue is that like if you think about it, if you take the countries out of it and you think of it purely competition wise, and you think about the whole Champions League, every team that's in it, like it would be teams from the top 5 leagues, and then that becomes more of like a super league, which obviously we don't want. But I think the issue,
What they're fighting,
the issue with both formats is like the Champions League having a team every year from Cyprus is ridiculous. Like, they always get beat.
Yeah.
I know they get some money out of it, but like competitively, entertainment wise, it's just a bad situation. And I think they have to balance it out a little bit in terms of like taking away some of those spots. They kind of did it when they kicked Russia out, but like taking out some of those underperforming spots. And I'm not saying make it all EPL, all La Liga, but like, the Portuguese teams are always competitive, for example. Like the gulf in class between the winner of Cyprus and the 7th EPL team is just so big that you're creating a lot of bad matchups.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, because I honestly think, like, you say that, because I look at, like, Brighton, Brentford, Fulham, and Bournemouth are all kind of like, I think, 9th through. I feel like all those teams would go to the other leagues and it's like crush teams. Like, those are like, I think those are quality teams, other leagues. And, yeah, I think the EPL's gotten to that point. But I think that's a great point because, man, there's I think, which low key, I think with FFP and all this, I think it's gonna slowly margin that back out. I think there's gonna be a chance for other teams to get back because I think, like, with all these, there's, like, again, everyone's like backing out all this further and forward. It's like, yeah, we can't afford them, man. Like, we can't do that. We can't just pay $100 million anymore because, like, they're actually trying to relegate that. So hopefully these other teams, the Atalantas and Nablus, whatever, the Bournemouths can actually keep all these players, which also brings all the money through these other teams, like the Conference League. That's still money for them. Maybe they'll keep it. Maybe Crystal Palace will keep Eze. Maybe he won't leave because he got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these things actually help.
I think that's why, like, as a neutral, I enjoyed watching the Golasso for the Europa League more because they were just better matchups. Like the second place Swedish team versus the third place Greek team, often that was a good game. Whereas the equivalent matchups in Champions League, it often was not entertaining. Even if the score itself was close, one team was parking the bus. You know, it just
Golasso show was like on crack. Yeah. Like it was amazing. I loved the Euro. If you didn't have a Golasso show, watch it during the groups, bro. It's
stadiums
like 60
behind
games.
Doors.
We are not sponsored by the Golasso Show.
No one knows how to pronounce the players or teams.
Yeah, it's actually a good way. No, it's a good way to see all these teams because, like, you will see those teams because they will. And I know it's kind of like where, like, oh, why did the World Cup stop the teams? But then you have that little team that wins. There are those little clubs and those teams, and they win, and they, like, you know, I mean. He just got done fixing a toilet, and he came out there and won a game. You know what I'm saying? He's over there running.
That's where,
that's the glorious side.
I like to think I know a lot of clubs, watched for a long time, and then you watch the Conference League and you just get humbled. Like, I don't even know a region. Like,
for sure. Yeah.
But I think they did. It's the same thing with the World Cup. They took a very wholesome concept of, this is something good, we want to expand it and give this experience to more people, and they just took it to such a level of greed that it became, it ended up eroding the whole reason for it. And I think that, to make it more competitive, they should just, I'll pick on Cyprus. Some of the other countries, Scotland has been one of them. Rangers had the worst Champions League performance in history 2 seasons ago. Like, that's not fun for anyone's fans. And just think about shifting some of those people to Europa, and then however you want to sort out because the thing with the Serie A and Premier League have traded spots in the Champions League over the last few seasons, but a place like Greece or Cyprus or Scotland has a guaranteed spot, and they're not you have to do really bad through a few seasons to lose it. Right. So Rangers had the worst Champions League season ever. Celtic got this Scottish spot the next time. So it's you're really not going to lose that guarantee even if you're a smaller league, and that's what leads to a lot of bad matchups.
Is it worthwhile for these small clubs to really invest? Because you're looking at travel, you're looking at possibly getting extra players,
stadium
upgrades, and all that. The mandates that are involved in that.
Sometimes you have to play at a different stadium, which you'll see across the world from time to time.
Yeah, I wonder, is it really worth it for the smaller teams to be involved at that point?
I mean, it depends because I don't know how much those teams get as far as qualification money. It might be
the bonus.
Yeah.
We'd have to. That's research. We'd have to look at that.
It's
I might do that before the next show.
Yeah, it's also something that you can. We were talking about being a recruiting thing in the Premier League, but let's say your career's winding down, you're getting offers from Turkey and Greece and other places, MLS. If this Greek club or this Turkish club can offer you Champions League football, that's gonna be a big chip. Even if you're not. The group is looking a little iffy for you. It's still the Champions League, and that's something, even to beat out their rivals domestically, they're going to be able to offer.
Right.
I think a lot of the teams that, for example, in the first round or whatever it was, the league play, I think a lot of them that did end up getting knocked out, you could have predicted that they were going to get knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
There were some that was like, what are you doing there? But for the most part, it's like, those are the teams that would have lost out in the old format. You know, a lot of them would have.
And that's kind of
Yeah,
like
right
what
at
I
the
was
beginning,
talking about with for Manchester United not being in Europe next year might be more of a blessing than they realize. Like, you know, Girona had that magic season.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came back in the Champions League and just got, dominated. And it's like, would it have been better for them to not go at all? Great experience for the fans, you know, something that feather in their cap moving forward. But just from a pure sporting side, I have no idea where they finished in La Liga, but I would say maybe they could have finished a little higher if they didn't have to go through that.
If they were
trauma.
concentrating on just that.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. Well, we got Champions League final. It all comes down to May 13th at Allianz Arena, PSG versus Inter. Who do you guys got for this one?
Inter.
Yeah, I have to.
Inter.
Yeah, because for me, when I thought about it, it was kind of like very close. But the deciding factor for me wasn't even like, you know, something that's based on math or science. It's just Inzaghi's been there.
Astrology?
Yeah,
they've been
basically,
there?
Basically,
They got the
Inzaghi's been
experience?
at the final, and Luis Enrique and this PSG team hasn't, and that's what really kind of made a decision for me to say Inter's got it, because I've seen a lot of teams that who get there the first time they don't win it, and then the second time they do, and that for me was really what. That's it. Other than that, I think it's very, very close.
I mean, you think PSG is going to climb their way back in for a second round? I mean,
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think
You think they're going to keep this club together, like this squad?
That I don't know, because I don't know a whole lot about that league or that team.
I mean,
It sounds-
PSG
it
is going to
sounds
be
to
back
me-
in Champions League for sure. Like, we know that for sure. But
It sounds to me like recruiting wise, they're doing fine. They can pay their players. I don't see many of their players wanting to push out to go move to some other team, because, you know, honestly, where does Dembele or someone like Doué go other than Real Madrid or maybe Barca? But
that's not happening.
I don't see where else. Maybe Man City, but I don't really see like what you were talking about. Like, I don't see a lot of those teams forking over that money.
Nobody's going. People are staying put.
I think Inter overall, I mean, it's a cliche, but talk about grinding out results. Like, they have truly found a way to win, and I think some of the late goals that they've had, and just they play with an intensity, and it comes from Inzaghi on the sidelines, that I think is tough to beat. And specifically, you know, they are playing for their season tomorrow. And they're going to be able to keep up that intensity going into the Champions League final. Whether they win or lose, obviously if they lose, that'll be tough psychologically, but you still keep that intensity of, you know, another cliche, cup finals. They have one real cup final, and they have one essentially a cup final within a week, and I would bet on that team versus the team that has had the league locked up for weeks, has not had meaningful games to play, has not had that mental intensity and focus. And yeah, they're all going to say the right things in press conferences and everything, but it's not the same intensity. You can't recreate it. The manager can say whatever he wants. You can have his intense training sessions. It's not the same as Inter sleeping in the hotel right now is feeling going into tomorrow. And I think in general, that's always an advantage, unless if there's some big injury, you know, one of the Thuram or Lautaro goes down, then that's gonna be huge. But barring a big injury, I think that is gonna be a huge advantage for them.
Yeah, it gives them that momentum to keep going, that adrenaline.
And Jan Sommer, wow.
Yeah.
That guy can make, like, PSG's so fast, but I kind of like splicing together the footage from the various games in my mind. I just see PSG, all this counterplay going down the wings, and Sommer just, you know, pulling off some big saves.
Yeah.
PSG getting frustrated, Inter scoring some type of golazo, 1-0. That's that.
Low scoring game.
I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
You know,
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Goalkeepers being
I think it's going to be
spotlight again.
entertaining. Yeah.
And we've been talking about how dominant EPL has been, but it's good to see a non-English final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no Spanish teams either, so.
True. Yeah.
No, I think it's gonna be fun to watch. Also, I'm probably gonna go Inter also, just because I just don't see PSG having that extra oomph. I guess we'll give it a name.
They
that
also have
Inter
a
has.
different. I think if you look at the profiles of the club, obviously if Inter lose Serie A tomorrow and Champions League, their fans will be devastated. But going into the season, if you told them you'd be fighting for the Scudetto on the last day and you'd be in the Champions League final, they would take that. Any team in Italy would take that. So take that setup, and I think they have a unique group of. They have some veterans. They have some guys who've been around. Like
Mkhitaryan was in the midfield. I actually thought I was like, wait, what?
He has not gone to Turkey to get his hair fixed, but
no, not at all.
Thuram, Lautaro, like they have some guys who've been on the squad for a while, and I think they have a true team mentality. PSG, on the other hand, they've had this narrative of the owners really want to win the Champions League, and it's never.
I mean, it's all they've been after for the better part of the decade.
So now they're ready to take that next step, but they're feeling all that pressure. Whereas, I'll throw another cliche at you. Inter, I feel like, is playing with house money, so they have a pressure and an intensity, but there's also not that. If we blow this, it's PSG choking again.
Yeah, and also like I feel like they've got that with the same with the I'm forgetting what I was going to say. I completely blanked.
The way I've seen it, PSG has been after this trophy for they've been
Since
hungry
the
for it.
Qataris took over. That was like their stated.
That was what they wanted. They wanted to have that trophy.
That's why they wanted Messi, Mbappe.
Oh, that's what I was going to
Neymar.
talk about. Now you reminded me. Yeah,
Ronaldo.
they're getting over that whole their
dealing with that
era. Yeah, their Neymar, Messi, all that. They finally got rid of that, which was really a godsend for them and for Luis Enrique. And he's like, okay, now I don't have the pressure of having to always play Messi or having to always play. That might not have been working for the system that he was
having
doing.
to worry about Neymar leaving for 3 months.
So now he's got, I've got the players that I actually want. I can put them in the position that I want. I don't have to worry about an ego like a Messi or a Neymar especially. Yeah. Because it's like Doué or Dembele, or Kvaratskhelia. He can work with that. And Luis Enrique is one of the best coaches out there. That's what excites me about this final is that Inzaghi and Luis Enrique are top-notch coaches, man. Anybody would take them. So, I'm as a neutral, I'm excited to see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one to watch. This Saturday, we got the Women's Champions League final. Arsenal versus Barca. Estadio José Alvalade in Portugal.
Jose Alvalade?
Alvalade. Who do you guys got? I don't have. To me, it's I mean, just because Barca I can't stand, so I'm gonna have to go with Arsenal on this one.
Going to Arsenal.
But I did watch. I watched that last Arsenal game against Lyon. That was impressive. That was a very impressive game by Arsenal.
We lost games after that. But everyone, it's an impossible feat to beat the best women's team in the world, which is Barcelona. But it's cool to see that Arsenal's there. We got a little American playing on the outside back. Mm-hmm. So maybe Miss Fox can go out there and get some playing time out there too. Russo's kind of nasty and they play good soccer, man. They play good soccer. It's kind of cool. So hopefully, I don't think we're underdogs. So if we win, fantastic. I don't think we'll win, but I think just the fact that it's televised like this and there's a chance that everyone can actually watch the Women's Champions League final. And it does kind of suck. That's an Arsenal men's versus Barcelona.
You would have liked that.
We were trying to do that, and I was ready for it, man. I was like, man, as soon as we're healthy, we're gonna mop Barcelona up. I was ready. I was like, oh hey, I'm not worried about y'all. I was like, it's the women's team I'm worried about. I'm not worried about the men's team. But then everyone got hurt and we got lost, so now it's just
for the women's game. The one thing that I'm going to be very interested in is because it's two very different styles of play.
Oh yeah,
Arsenal run and gun, through ball, long ball.
that's what messed.
quick
That's
out
what
the
messed
sides.
Leon messed.
And
That's what
Barca-
messed them up. Leon,
Yeah.
when they played Leon, you could
Yeah.
tell they didn't
know how to
just-
deal with it, yeah.
Nope, did not.
And
No
Barca still runs the classic, the La Mesilla, tiki taka, beautiful passes. They do the one touch, the two touch. They got those triangles down. The you can just see the skill sets. It's going to be interesting to see. There is differences in size for sure. And again, Arsenal, like, they're a club that just packs on size, tall, strong, muscle. And Barca is definitely, the classic, smaller player, but definitely great on the dribble and skill sets. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this game plays out. So I'm very interested in it. That's going to be this Saturday. Now, let's talk about, we kind of mentioned it. So let's talk about this Italian League final day. Napoli, Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Napoli has Cagliari. Inter has Como. Cagliari in 14th place, Como in 10th place. Napoli just destroyed Cagliari in their first matchup this season, 0-4. But they did lose to Como. So that's interesting. Inter defeated Como in their first matchup this season, 2-0. Are we looking at it finishing the way it is right now, where Napoli just kind of takes it?
I mean, Napoli's in pole position.
Yep.
They're 1 point ahead. It's a weird one that happens at the end of the season around the world where you're both Inter and Napoli are facing teams with nothing to play for. So, always it always ends up being tighter than you would expect. But knowing that, I would not bet on Napoli losing their grip on it, but it's also one where, let's say it's halftime, Napoli's level, Inter's up 3-0, 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
The word starts to travel in the
Well, see, that's-
stadium. It starts to get tense, and that's where, it'll be very tricky. So I think that best case scenario for Napoli is go up early. Nice Lukaku tap in 1-0.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So that's the thing.
1-0.
Nah, but
Okay, so we know. Okay, traditionally Italian soccer is defensive. It's very tactical, tactics based, formation based. Are you looking at both of these teams just coming out and just going all the way, just trying to put it in the net as many times as possible in these two matchups?
I would say for Napoli, yes, at least in the first half, to try to go up early and get some comfort. I think that, they're not too afraid of Cagliari hitting them on the counter or anything like that.
You think they'll park the bus after they go up?
I wouldn't say park the bus, but, definitely be a little bit more defensive. Inter tends to be more defensive whoever they're playing, so I think that will continue. But you could also say, I was saying it's an advantage for Inter going to the Champions League, but you have to think somewhere in the back of those players' minds they're also thinking about that. Maybe going in for a tackle, diving for a header. Are you thinking, do I want to injure myself? Whereas this is all Napoli's playing for, obviously. So I think the full 100 commitment might come from Napoli, but it's one where you're going to want to watch on two screens. You're going to want to see how things develop. Hopefully, I think just entertainment value-wise, if both are winning easily early, Napoli's going to finish ahead, and that's kind of no fun. So hopefully there's some tension and some drama.
Yeah, going back and forth. Honestly, I think it's going to finish the way it stands right now, currently on the ladder in the standings. And I think both these teams are actually going to try. They're going to put it in.
Yeah.
And I see high-scoring games, but the win's the win. The 3 points are the 3 points, and I think Napoli just runs with it this time. I just don't see
hope so.
either of these teams. I don't see Cagliari or Como really.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, but you're just being outmatched, I think, at this point. Now, here's the thing, and historically, when I really, really used to pay attention to Serie A, Cagliari every now and then just upsets teams. And they got this thing where they just, oh, no, today we're going to show up and play, and we're not going to let you beat us. So, yeah, there is that. And then there is the fact that, they don't like each other. So we'll see what happens. When is that? That's
1:45 Central.
1:45.
Both
Both games are, yeah.
Tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out that Napoli's at home. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Cagliari, it's on an island.
Right.
Intense little stadium, but that's one where,
Tour tax.
where I'm saying if things are tense, especially it used to be you had the little radio and people get news from the other matches, but now everybody with their phone.
Yeah.
If it's tied, Inter goes up, like you'll be able to feel the
Yeah,
tension,
yeah.
and so that's one where even
That's when the internet's going to go out.
yeah, that's one where even
Yeah.
it can be your own. Like people talk about your own fans turning on you when you're doing bad, and that definitely happens. But this is one where it would almost be better for Napoli if the internet was turned off and they can just try to win and not worry about what the other result is.
You're listening to WLPNLP Chicago 105.5 FM Lumpen Radio. You're listening to Lumpen FC, and we will be back shortly.
This is Sadie Woods, and I'm bringing you Gridlock Sound Lab, Rush Hour Radio featuring house, Afro-Latin rhythms, world beat, disco, funk, soul, electro, and indie dance music. Gridlock Sound Lab, first and third Fridays at 4, only on 105.5 FM Lumpen Radio.
Weird Lady Music is now on Lumpen Radio every first and third and sometimes fifth Friday of the month at 7 p.m. My name is Baltazar, and I will be your host playing weird music made by ladies and music made by weird ladies across genres, geographies, and generations. Join me, citizens.
Have you ever felt there was more to this world than you could understand? Join me, DJ Heaven, for Spirit World. Every first and third Wednesday from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Lumpen Radio. Spirit World is a showcase of sounds designed to transport you to another world. Spiritual world that we cannot see but feel.
Lumpen Radio is supported by the Museum of Contemporary Art Chicago. The MCA champions the new and unexpected in contemporary art and culture through its exhibitions, performances, programs, and collection. Located in the heart of downtown Chicago, the MCA boasts the award-winning MCA store, the Marisol Restaurant and Bar, a 300-seat theater, and a terraced sculpture garden with a great view of Lake Michigan. Every Tuesday, the MCA is open until 9 p.m. and is free for Illinois residents. The MCA also offers free admission for anyone 18 and under all year long. For more information, visit mcachicago.org.
You're listening to WLPNLP Chicago 105.5 FM Lumpen Radio. You're listening to Lumpen FC. Thank you guys for listening in. If you want to get in touch with us, you can hit us up at lumpenfcradio@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on Twitch while we are on the show live, and we will answer any of your questions or talk about any of the comments that you make on Twitch on Lumpen TV. You can also follow us on Instagram, Barra Brava Brewing Co. On Instagram. That's Barra Brava Brewing Co. We will put all our events on there when we can.
We'll look for it with when Adrian's phone's charged up, because apparently he doesn't charge his phone at all.
No, it was charged. He just died.
Okay, let's get to zero.
Well, we gotta see if Robert hits us up. Give it a minute or so.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Champions League, Europa, Serie A finals. The other leagues are pretty much done. They're over with. Bayern took theirs. Barcelona took La Liga, and Liverpool took EPL. I'm not really up to date on some of the other leagues, but those are the main big ones right now at this point. So we're going to move over to MLS. and the Chicago Fire, especially. We just had our town hall meeting at Mars Community Brewing with Chicago Fire FC, where Bear Halter showed up, which was nice. We had Robert out there who is the liaison with the SGs. And, of course, the other directors and leaders and managers from Chicago Fire. It was a good event. The SGs were out there, which was a lot of fun. We had barn burners out there. We had a Sector Latino. We had a Section 8. And, of course, we had the BPF.
And the black SGs, right? Black Fire?
Black Fire SG, yeah.
Yep,
Black Fires were out there. We had quite a good turn up, and that was a lot of fun to be part of. But right now, look, the Fire look good.
Yeah. I think the 7-2 against Nashville, that
was embarrassing.
That was embarrassing.
I good thing Apple TV had her back and didn't play sound for the first half, so it's all good.
I think even Apple TV was gonna turn itself off.
They're like,
without a doubt, it turned the sound off.
We're doing you a favor.
They were up 5-0 at the half, right?
Oh,
yeah, 5-0 at the half.
But after that happened, I knew it was going to be whatever happened after would be a turning point. And for those of us who have endured many bad seasons with the Fire, including some really bad away form, like really, really bad, like not winning full seasons, not winning a single away game, multiple seasons actually, that it felt like a throwback in the worst way. So the team bounced back, and I think proved, at least to me, that this is not the Fire of old, and that this is a team that has some resiliency and can find ways to win. And I think the roster is coming into its own a little bit. I think players have emerged, like Omari Glasgow. He had a few appearances last season off the bench, didn't really impress a whole lot, wasn't really able to show what he was able to do, but he's really kind of a locked-on starter at this point, and he had a bad game against Miami, but other than that, he's really shown what he could do on the wing, and I think being an asset for us. And then even had some injuries, like Barroso started to show some promise, went out injured. He's coming back. Chris Mueller's coming back, more of a wild card there, but I do think, Goody's, again, the linchpin that he has been the last few seasons, but certainly his only improved. Brady also solid, Nashville aside. But one thing that I did see both those guys, Goody and Brady, they're young, but if you look at MLS starts on the team, they're, those guys have started a fair amount of MLS games, and they both had some bad cards. Brady got sent off, got a red card, got suspended. Goody got a second yellow, which, results in a suspension. And that's what you don't want to see from a young player who has experience, is those kind of indisciplined things. So hopefully we don't see much of that going forward. But overall, Craig fielded a strong lineup in the Open Cup. The Revolution did the opposite. It fielded basically an academy team, and we had a rollover win, which is as it should be. Again, a lot of results we've had in the past are Firefield a weak lineup against a lower league team, we struggle or lose, and so to see some of those narratives get changed in real time and not fall into those traps we fall into for a while is encouraging. And now we have Open Cup coming up, start of July against Minnesota. The draw was this morning, so
nice.
We're basically, this is the quarterfinals. So if we win this, then we have a semi against either Austin or San Jose, and then
are we liking the Bamba, Goody, the Cypress? I feel like it's a good look, right?
I'm liking
it. It's good, right? It's a good look, right?
I didn't mention Kuipers. This is like
Kuipers. I'm sorry.
I still feel like.
Pardon.
He might be from
Minnesota July
8th.
Minnesota July 8th.
But and then after we play, I believe, the winner of Austin San Jose, and then if we win that, then we're in the final, and then you have a chance of silverware. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And the Open Cup has a lot of history with the Fire, and it's just a really cool thing in American soccer overall. But to get back to the roster, Kuipers is one where he's up there for the Golden Boot right now in MLS. So to be complaining, it's hard to be complaining. But even in that game, the Open Cup game, he scored one goal that was a nice one. It was a redirection on the post, nice reaction on the volley to score. but he had some bad sequences. And if you look back at the goals that he scored, they are not pretty. And the Fire were driving me crazy posting a highlight where he crashes into the post. The ball's going in anyways, and he's jumping up and crashing into the post. And it's like, I think for those of us who lived through the Robert Barrich era, it's just like
Zamboni.
the tall, white,
Get it through.
clumsy striker as a tall, white dude who's clumsy. Maybe it's just looking in the mirror. Not what I want to see on the field. People tripping, people just having no coordination. And like, I think if we were to pull up all the top scorer standings in leagues around the world, there's usually like, I'll give you a great example from Italy, Di Natale. He always won the Capocannoniere for Udinese, regardless of where they were, because he just could produce goals. And it's like, if we look through all the top scorers, there's usually someone who's on a bad team who's the only guy who scores goals, and they rack it up. So I don't want Kuipers to become that.
To rack him up,
but
boy.
like Bamba, Guti, all these guys are emerging, and it's like when I think of what I'm excited about with the Fire, he's not coming to mind in the way that his price tag and profile, is kind of supposed to. And obviously leading the Golden Booster race.
Yeah, I mean, some of the issues that I've been watching is the consistency. It's just all over the place, and it's kind of weird how they look great in some games, just really, really well put together. The passing, the way they spread the field out wide, the way they run that diamond formation, the way they move the ball up, it looks fantastic. And then, and it can even happen in the halves, like in the first half, second half. They look fantastic in the first half, and then the second half is like, what team is this? Like, what occurred?
And I just remember being in Columbus for the opener. It was very cold, and looking out in the first half, it was like, whoa, this is not the Fire I'm used to watching in Columbus. And we lost that game 4-2, if I remember correctly, but the first 25 minutes was just a different level from the Fire. But in that 25 minutes and the rest of the game, and you'll see this in MLS, Bamba was just operating at a different level. And he's bombing down the wing. It's almost comical. You can go, and he's kind of slowing down, like, where's everybody at?
What are y'all doing? Y'all gonna keep up?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and there were other times, like I think he and Gucci ran into each other. Like it was very clearly these guys just started playing together, and one guy came from Celta Vigo, and everyone else came from Fire 2. Right. So it's like, but they are learning to play together, and it doesn't look so much like. For the first few games, it was kind of like Guti and Bamba and some other guys. And even like What the Hell, very young, but I thought he was a liability the first few games. He's emerging. It's no longer like that. And that's what you want to see. There's not, historically with the Fire 11, there's one person I'm like, oh God. Or one, depending on the season, there's a few guys who are like a very obvious weak point. Like, I remember Suquet just getting exposed against the Dynamo in the Open Cup a few years ago. We don't have those major pitfalls like we have in years past. So
there is. Go ahead.
Question. No, it says, do you believe in is there traction? Do you think this KDB thing could be real? You think KDB could be in the Chicago jersey? Because like
the KDB question.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So you gotta think. I mean, because we don't. It's one thing we didn't bring it up, but you just gotta ask and think about it. Because like,
I'm going with no.
Yeah. Well, the thing was that the rumors. Fabrizio Romano was tweeting it. The rumors were very strong, and then they cooled off. And then actually, the leading candidate was Napoli, and then someone showed me a screenshot today at the town hall saying, he's coming again. And I personally don't, like to get into the business of trying to rate the validity of transfer rumors. No,
of course.
We say we were talking about Neymar not too long ago, and did so and so fly to Saudi
That's
Arabia? That didn't happen. It's like I'm not.
Neymar to the Fire would have just been jersey sales. That's all that would have been. That's not.
I just mean in terms of it happening, not if it was a good signing or not. But with this one, like seeing, he came off injury. Still performing at a high level. If I'm KDB, I want more of like. Remember when everybody used to go to Sevilla, and it was sort of like there was like the pre-retirement. It was before you went to MLS or somewhere else, and you would go.
Now they got tourist tax stuff. That ain't happening anymore.
Yeah,
right? That's a done thing.
But I mean, I just mean like, you see a lot of. I think this will happen for some of the guys who go to Turkey. They want to still play in Champions League. They want a competitive, intense atmosphere, but they're not going to cut it at a top EPL club anymore. And I think with KDB's skill and the level that he was playing at even after the injury, something like that makes more sense than coming to the Fire.
So he's going to go to loan to Bayern Munich, huh?
So
so he just kills down there, play when he wants.
There's so many teams you could throw out there, but even like let's just say Borussia Dortmund, like he could. I'm not saying just take the money out of it, like in terms of a fit.
No, he's out of contract. He won't be on loan, right?
Well, he's out of contract, but it's just one of. Oh yeah, he's right. He's out of contract.
So yeah,
right.
there's no.
So I think at this point it's more about what he wants, and I think. Competitively, he will stay somewhere between Turkey and, England.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying competitively.
It's so funny if he joins.
I mean, it's what he said. He said so at one of the.
Amazing.
It was one of the comments that he made after I think it was a post game interview. They were asking him about that, and he was like, "Hey, look, he's got the kids, he's got the wife, the whole
family
catastrophe." So it's not really up to him at that point. It's up to the family. So if you got kids that are they're at that age, where school is, it's got to be a foundation for them. What are they going to do? Go learn German, go learn Italian, go learn not that it's not easy, not that it's not easy for kids, but that situation when you put them in that situation where they have to switch immediately, that's not easy,
Well, I think
do
the
kids
part
want
of
to do
it
that?
is like I've seen so many times people get caught up because so and so went on vacation in Miami or so and so was wearing a Chicago Bulls jersey, and it's like. There's a difference between going there on vacation for a week and, playing at Salt Lake, at like being an MLS player day in, day out. And I think that, these guys and their families, for the most part, that's a part of what they signed up for. And most of these relationships, unless they're going to say...
I don't know. Shaqiri ain't signed up for that.
Hey, man, Shaqiri's balling right now. Shaqiri needs to do whatever he wants. He's destroying right now.
Joe Mansueto must have done something to him, and he really wanted to get back at him. And he just was like, I'm going to go to Switzerland, and I'm just going to... Not only did I take your money, I'm going to F over your other team.
That's rough.
Cut up.
That's rough.
When it started off, I was like... All right, people are making a big deal of this. It's a Swiss league. He scored a few goals, whatever. And I was like, boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
he kept it up, and they won the title. And
did he have like 20 goals and 21 assists or something?
Just for people that may not realize this, is that George Heitz he worked at Basel, and that's where he made his reputation. Okay. He signed Salah. He signed someone else. I don't know if he signed Shaqiri or sold Shaqiri, but he was around for probably the best Basel team, I'm not a Basel historian, but in a long time, we'll say. And then George Heitz comes to the Fire, brings him to the Fire, owned by Joe Mansueto. Joe Mansueto, during that time, buys Lugano, who's in the Swiss league and had a very good season. So now, Shaqiri's back there, basically double birds to both of them.
Yeah. Look what I can do.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that you did bring up, so one of the issues that I do have right now with the Chicago Fire is, the inconsistency, fine. But the inconsistency up front, they seem to have been able to manage that. But on the defensive side, that has been just absolutely, has been pretty bad.
I mentioned there isn't a weak spot, and I might have to take that back a little bit in that, Sam Rogers has just not been starting 11 caliber, unfortunately.
And then the one that I've been keeping my eye on is Pineda, and it's just one game he's amazing. It's like, oh my God, he plays lights out, and then the next game is like, dude, are you a cone? Like, it's just crazy because when he shows his talent, he is a very talented player. He's very skilled. He's got great passing capabilities. He sees the field. And then when he's not there, it's just not there at all.
Yeah, and the Fire have had a history of bringing in wildly inconsistent defenders. Francisco Calvo, legendary example it was almost like either you're going to get a man of the match performance or he's going to get sent off.
Yeah.
And Suket could be like that as well. And there's who else am I thinking of where it was just like Miguel Navarro was like another one where it was like total yellow card liability, but would make great tackles.
How long did Navarro play?
Well, he's back. He's in Argentina now, playing for Talleres, but I don't think he's that old.
Yeah, no, but how long was it?
I think 3 seasons.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, yeah, it's like
that was a few seasons.
I feel like most of the games I went to too, he was like,
he was a locked-on starter, like, and he was not always injured very often, so he was But and that's, I think that Adrian, like you're saying, is the needed next step forward. Is right now, the Fire are mid-table-ish. They're outside the playoff picture, but they're not, one of the worst teams. They're not in that lower portion of the table, but no one is flying into O'Hare or Midway, worried about playing at Soldier Field at this point.
Right.
And that's partially because of the consistency, and it's partially because of the home form specifically. But like the Charlotte game, we look great, and we just came in and basically dominated them from Jump Street. And that, not that every game is going to go that well, but that consistency where you don't need to be top of the table, but this is a team we don't want to play. It's going to be tough. They're going to make us earn it, home or away. We're not there yet, but it does feel like we're on the cusp. Maybe it's bringing in a key piece or pieces or shifting stuff around. As I mentioned, we got some people coming off injury, but I do think a part of it is some of these guys are Greg's guys, some of these are not. And right now, again, it's fitting together, and there might be an opportunity to maybe shift some people out and bring some people in that Greg feels are better. One guy who has not worked out is Kellen Acosta, and
and
that's one where it's almost like
it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's just
on Thursday nights, man. When I'm not here, come play with us, bro. You be all right.
Yeah, but yeah, and I mean,
are you recruiting on?
Omar Gonzalez.
Bro, has he even touched a pitch?
Yeah. He's made.
He said, "Oh yeah, yes."
And I was worried about him, but that felt like maybe Greg doing a favor for a guy who, but it's it's. I think there's basically just we started off very positive, and now we kind of highlighted some of the but. In order to improve the team, you got to.
That's the thing, though. So, like,
I feel like our team is soft.
I mean that's there is an issue on that. I mean, I can't agree with some of those points as well.
We're just soft in the areas that we need to be stronger at, but we're generally just a soft team.
Like, and then also Atlanta, the game against Atlanta is a perfect example of one of those where we're playing 2 different halves, and Atlanta didn't make those changes where I was like, oh wow, they really changed up to do certain things.
They got their own problems.
But we had issues in the second half moving the ball upfield. And granted, we're doing this back play from the back thing, which is fine. Okay, great. That's what he wants to do. Okay, let's implement it. Let's work with it. It looked good in the first half. It looked fundamentally sound. Everyone knew where their fellow player was gonna be in the spots in the open spaces. And in the second half, it was just like, what is going on? It just looked like a completely different team.
And I think that is one thing the Fire lack here right now is the depth. So start of the second half, things are going well. Who do you bring on? It's not when you see the names on the back of the jerseys like Tom Barlow in the last game. It's not you're not like this guy's gonna be a difference maker, and that's where I think we got to shore up the defense in the starting 11 a little bit. But whether hopefully bringing someone in the the summer transfer window, but just for a long run, hopefully into the playoffs, you do need some depth because we don't. I think we're close to having a good, solid starting 11. We're not there yet, but the bench is sort of another story.
Yeah. Now we don't do the windows thing, right? So, do you see though the possibility of losing Goody again or losing Goody?
The rumor was he was going to go to Roma, but I think probably what would be best for him is to finish out the season.
Roma would be tough.
Yeah.
Roma would be a
It's
tough.
I don't
it's
think-
a mess over there.
I don't know if he would break it.
Maybe like La Liga. Or,
I
or-
think the best thing for him, not that I want to lose him as a Fire fan, is finish out the season. Then you're looking at outside chance of getting into the World Cup squad. You know, if you really turn it on.
He's got to turn it on.
Yeah, but
he's got to turn it on more.
But it's
Does he have a chance of going to the Gold Cup? I mean, with all these
Well,
players,
he didn't make the he didn't make the last squad, right?
But with these players dropping out,
he didn't make
made
the last squad. He got called in though.
He and Brady are on the 60-man roster, which
the waiting list,
which you can be called in for the Gold Cup, but he wasn't called in to the 2 friendlies that are upcoming.
Right.
One's against Turkey, and I
Right.
forget the other one. So, but I think it's it's a matter of he has to up his game wherever he's playing if he wants to be in the U.S. team and if he wants to get to a club like Roma. He can do that here, especially to the end of the season. I think what I've seen a lot of players take the wrong move or go too early, and it really
Roma would
deflate them. Like him sitting on the bench at Roma. We had this have with another young Fire player, Jordi Mihalovic. He went to AZ Alkmaar, didn't touch the field, and now he's on the Rapids. And he's doing pretty well in the Rapids, but it's like when that type of trajectory happens, it's like
Roma's
I also think
going to Roma is a big jump. It's that's not a
but
little.
I'm just,
that's
what
a
I'm
huge
saying
jump.
is that it's you could argue that going over there, having that experience, seeing how those players train, all that was worthwhile. And then they came back, and in Mihalovic's case, he was on the Rapids. That worked out. That I can't really evaluate. If he had stayed with the Fire, with Montreal, would he have been better? I don't know, but the fact of the matter is he did it good in Europe. He came back to MLS. So
here's the thing, and we're really up against it. But if he does turn it up, he does get a national roster. He does show up this season. I don't see the Fire keeping him.
No,
he's going somewhere.
He goes, but if he goes somewhere, I'm sorry, I don't think he needs to go to Rome because the Serie A is a mess as it is. But if he goes to the Bundesliga and goes to a lower team, just so it's competitive, like something that's going to actually make him,
or even
put a little weight on, because that's all he's missing, in my opinion.
La Liga also,
a
lot of teams in La Liga right now who could use a player like
it's
that.
just
definitely putting no weight on La Liga.
I think more than the league, it's about the fit, and there a lot of obviously. The best U.S. players right now are all in Serie A, whether it's on Milan or on Juventus, and that doesn't mean that if Guti goes to Cagliari, it's just going to work out just because it's in Italy. It has to be the right fit and the right squad, but that's very tough because most teams that would want to bring him in are probably not going to want to integrate him right away. They're going to see him more as a project.
I'm going to let that best U.S. players playing Italy slide because they've been trash lately. But I'm going to let that slide till the next one. But I was like, that's the best. No way am I saying that is. No, sir.
If you're Pochettino and you have the full selection for the World Cup.
Wait, doesn't have those Italian players. Sorry.
But at this point, you can't be like, forget McKinney, get me Diego Luna. There's a whole resume attached to it.
Well, we'll definitely be talking about the national squads here on the next show because it's coming into the summertime, and summertime is a lot of those international matches.
I think you already saw me. Diego Luna is going to be there because McKinney's not playing. So
no,
we'll see. Now's his chance.
When we talk about it, that's for sure.
Yep.
You've been listening to WLPN Chicago 105.5 FM Lumpen Radio. You've been listening to Lumpen FC. If you want to get in contact with us, you can keep track on us on Instagram at Barra Brava Brewing Co. You can hit us up at lumpenfcradio@gmail.com. You can also watch us on Twitch while we're on live and drop any comments on there that you like. We get to them as much as we can or as soon as we can. As usual, I am Adrian, and I'm here with
Jim J.
And Sebastian.
Good night. It's Nate.
And that was Nate with a good night. Thank you all so much for listening to us. Y'all have a good night.